2021 is going to be an incredibly transformative year. And there's something that all light workers need to know, and this is in a way kind of like a warning, kind of like a forewarning of what we need to do. And if you think about it like, you know, the example of Care Bears. Now there's these negative energies that are trying to manipulate, that are trying to keep people asleep, that are trying to play the public, and most people are buying into it. But imagine that it's, in a way, us light workers, what we must do is we must team up together. And in a way, think of it like Care Bears, right? Care Bears, the Care Bears stare. And the idea is that we all get together, and that what we do is we're literally sending that love out there, sending that energy out there so that it could then transform the world.
Cousin Cole! Care Bear, stare!
Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron, and I help people expand their consciousness. Now, in this video, I want to explain some of the things to you that I think is very important that we understand right now about what is happening, what is actually happening. Because when you look out into the world, you see all of the fear antics, you see all the things happening. Many people are realizing that there's more going on than what the public is led to believe. And here's the funny thing, you know, when I record this video, it's the holidays here in the States, United States. I went over to my family's house, and it's funny watching like my grandma and my dad, like everyone kind of talking about politics and stuff. Even my grandma, who like watches the news, like, you know, she brought a mask. She brought a mask to the family gathering, you know, and she wasn't really wearing it, but she had it just in case. And she was talking, you know, she watches the news a lot. And even her, she was talking about the stuff that happened at the beginning of the year. She was talking about how she doesn't know who started it. She was asking and saying things that I never saw her would think that she would say. It's showing me I can kind of gauge what other people are thinking or believing. And I find it very interesting that people that I never thought would be open to thinking that there was some type of negative agenda, some type of maybe exaggeration of what is happening. And it's just a funny thing for me to acknowledge, even in people that watch the news religiously. And what is becoming very obvious, though, is people are waking up. And as a light worker, you are somebody that is woken up before a lot of other people. And the purpose of that is that then just you being yourself is influencing people at subconscious energetic levels, whether they are aware of it or not. Now, what is a light worker? If you're wondering what a light worker is, you most likely are a light worker because you wouldn't have even clicked on this video, or it wouldn't come up when you're suggested or something like that, unless it was something that really aligned with you. And as far as synchronicity goes, it's just something that the way that it works. Now, when it comes to a light worker, it means that in a way, the way that this reality works is when we come here, we forget who we are, and then we go through a process of remembering who we are. And one of the things that was happening is Earth was on a more negative timeline. We were literally destroying the planet. And what happened is there was, in a way, a call put out. This is from the books by Dolores Cannon, by the way, which are thousands of hypnotherapy sessions that said very similar things when people were in this deep level of subconscious state, that we came here to be born, to remember who we are, to go through this great shift in consciousness that is happening now on the planet. In ancient times, even now, they call this the Kali Yuga. We are moving into a new era where literally what used to be working is dying so that we can lay a new foundation, a new way of being. And it is it is literally, I believe, one of the most transformative, powerful, and important times to be alive than ever in history. And it's because we all came here to do this together. We came here to wake up to higher states of consciousness. And really, it's out of a necessity. If we didn't wake up right now, the planet would literally be on a timeline of just self-destruction. So what happened is this call was put out from Earth that says, hey, they're doing nuclear bombs and stuff. This stuff's not good. I need help. And then we felt we had a connection to Earth. We felt like we wanted to come back. We knew it was going to be hard. Many of us chose to have very painful experiences early in life that would propel us into a spiritual awakening, because pressure is what causes spiritual awakening. And the interesting thing is now there's a collective pressure that is being put on people, and that's why so many people are waking up. However, there's been a certain number of people, an elite people, whatever you want to call it, an elite people that have had a negative agenda to keep people in fear, because when people are in fear, they're much more likely to give up their power, and they're much less likely to question things because they're in that survival mode. So what this certain group of individuals have done that may have had power for different family bloodlines, who may have just basically, it's a way of them establishing control, is orchestrating different things, exaggerating different things, owning different aspects of the media, and then therefore their own agenda can be placed upon the people. Now, the interesting thing is so many people are waking up that I believe that it's completely crumbling. And what they're doing right now is they are spewing out the last couple cards that are up their sleeves. And that includes things that are going to put people into fear. That includes going back into where we were at the beginning of the year. And it is so obvious. It is so obvious what is happening. I'm not saying that just from my point of view. I'm saying it from other people's point of view. So many people are questioning things now. The only power that, by the way, this elite group of people have is that they control they believe they control the attention of the millions of people on the planet and billions of people on the planet. So if they can control the attention, then what they can do is they can then control the energy. However, they're losing that power right now as we speak. Now, the thing that as a light worker, it's very important that you know is that don't buy into the craziness. It's just the last cards they have up their sleeve. And the more that we react is the more we are doing what they want us to do. They want us to react. The way that it works is they say, okay, we want this end result. How can we establish this end result? Whether that's power, whether that's people in not questioning things, whether that's controlling the media, whatever it is. So what they do is they say, okay, let's put out this, let's exaggerate this thing, put people in fear. Then when people are in this reaction state, it's very easy to mold things. And when you own the attention space, you can then have people believe that something is way worse than it is. You can then make people believe that it's best that they just kind of stay to the side. The only reason a lot of this stuff is happening is because we're all agreeing to it together. We're allowing it to happen. But what we can begin to do is to at least question it. Question what is happening. And realize that as we question it, we're dismantling the energy grid within ourselves, the energy power within ourselves. Now, the Great Awakening, I know sometimes I do these videos, and what I do is I have this board. I barely reference the board. I think it's funny. My buddy was doing an impression of me the other day, and it was funny because that's what he was doing, because sometimes I don't really mention it, but just so I mention it a little bit, okay? So this right here, this planet Earth, what has happened is there's been a negative agenda from different people on the planet that have wanted to keep it, in a way, under control. So what it did is it's remained control through the media, through different means, through orchestrating different things. And then when people are in that fear mode, it's very easy to control them. However, what is happening now is we are moving into a new era of consciousness where the vibration is raising. As the vibration raises, this old power structure cannot continue to have power the way that it has for so long. So what is happening is there's a dismantling of that energy. Literally, the old system is beginning to fall apart. Now, we're transitioning into a new way of being where the energy that it used to be, it's like it no longer is sustainable with how things were. When it comes to the presidential election, as a light worker, here's what I want you to know. It doesn't matter who wins. It doesn't matter. There is a divine plan here. In my opinion, the energy that is coming in, I just don't believe that either president will really have full reign over the next 4 years. I believe that, in a way, that system is going away. I know it sounds crazy and radical, but I believe that it's a new era to where that energy doesn't really sustain either one. And what happens is there'll be, over the next few years, there'll be a media downfall. It's already happening. People aren't believing in the media nearly as much. You've got things like YouTube, where YouTube gets way more views and attention than a lot in alternate media sources than the mainstream anyways. So there's, in a way, a collective purge going on. So a shaman might call it. If you go into some type of plant medicine ceremony, there's purging that happens, releasing of the old. That's what we're going to be going through as we move in, and the sleep will awaken. As a light worker, I want you to know that. It may take a little bit of time. People will awaken at their own pace, but it's happening, and it will continue to happen. But there's a couple important messages that I have for you as a light worker. Now, first off, realize that when it comes to being a light worker, when it comes to your mission to help awaken other people, there's a thing that I see happens a lot, and this happened to me. This idea of waiting. Back in 2012, when I went through my awakening, I literally spent 3 to 4 to 5 years waiting for things to happen. I had this idea that on December 21st, 2012, we're all going to ascend into a higher level of consciousness. It was an idea because it was something that I believe was happening in a metaphorical sense. We are actually moving into higher states of consciousness now, and we have been, but I believed it and thought it was actually literal, so I was waiting. And then there's this talk of this thing called Nasara, where it's like all the dark elite that have had all this money for so long, it's all this money's gonna be redistributed. So I was waiting for that. There was waiting. But understand this, no one is gonna save us. We are the change we've been waiting for. What we must remember is that now is the time. So the thing that I also did is I was intellectualizing, I was learning knowledge for like 5 to 8 years before I got on YouTube. If I could look back at it, the thing I'd recommend you do is to start actually doing and being it instead of thinking it and learning knowledge. This is a trap many people fall into when it comes to self-development. They learn, they go to conferences, they go to Tony Robbins, they go to other conferences, they learn about this, they learn about that, but it's all learning. The change really happens when you make you have a new behavior that's based on being. When I started making daily videos on YouTube, that transformed my whole life because energetically my energy changed. And then I started to see myself different. So as a light worker, I know it can be cool to learn all this information and know about all the injustices that has been happening on the planet, but don't stay there. Take action. We are literally building what is called the new earth. We are building a new way of being, and you came here for that purpose. You came here to help rebuild it, not to be on the bystander and just to kind of look and hope that things get better. We need to get rid of this saving mentality where we're waiting for some savior to come and help us. We are the change. And if we want these cool things to happen, like really cool technology to be released that's been suppressed for a long time, or to be able to make contact with higher dimensional beings, which I know this sounds crazy to some people that may be hearing me for the first time, but there's whistleblowers, there's people that have alluded, this stuff is, we're not the only ones, basically. And in this lifetime, I do believe we will have the ability to obtain contact with higher dimensional beings. This doesn't mean just etheric, this means physical as well. But they will meet us halfway. So we need to do the inner work. And as a light worker, stop waiting. Stop waiting, start being. Go after your passion, whatever that is. But understand that the more that you're waiting is the more we're prolonging our own transformation. Now, another message that I have for you guys as light workers is I know conspiracy theories and stuff like that and rabbit holes can be very interesting to go down. And I'm not saying that they're false or true. I'm not here to say one way or the other. But I am going to ask you this. Is it beneficial? I've seen people, family, myself, get tied up in this world of understanding these rabbit holes. But what happens is I find it lowers my vibe, and then it becomes like this pit where you keep looking at more and more information of it. Yes, there's a lot of crazy stuff that is happening in the world. What's true, what's not true, that's based on our own discernment, but is it serving you to go down it? I acknowledge that a lot of that stuff may or may not be true, based on my own discernment, but then I decide, okay, I'm shifting my attention over here to my passion, my purpose. When I was doing that, it was harder for me to make videos. I was like feeling more drained. I was having weird dreams at night the more I would study all that. So while some of it may be true, may resonate, understand it may not actually be serving you to continue to focus on it. Don't let it drain your energy. What if there's also what if the negative agenda is that people get sucked into it because then it feeds the old reality? And it's almost like it's like mind candy, I think, sometimes. But I think that once again, observe, become aware, don't give away the power. Realize that as you do that, you're gonna find that you retain more of your energy, just in general. So the main part of this too is to just go for whatever. So stop buying into the fear, whether that is some type of rabbit hole, negative rabbit hole, or whether it's what the media is projecting out to you. Disengage from it and then go after your passion. Follow your passion. I know this sounds cliche, but many of you watching this video right now, especially if you've watched this far into the video, you are meant to help people to, it doesn't mean that you're meant to like make content or to do exactly what I do, but I do believe that you are on the leading edge and you're meant to like, by being yourself, you're meant to help other people awaken. Could mean creating art, could be being a coach, could be being a healer. It could be creating content, having a podcast, sharing these ideas. It could be many different things, helping people. Whatever it is, go for it. Stop waiting. Now is the time. Now is the time. And as time goes on, it is more and more important to be in integrity with who you are. That's one thing that I've learned in powerful ways, is that now is the time of integrity, of being authentic to who you are. And the more you do that, the energy that is here now is going to fuel you. Fuel you? I don't know, whatever. With the election, who's gonna win, all these things, the negative timelines, there's negative timelines, positive time. The way that we do this, in a way, the Care Bear thing at the beginning, one of the ways we do this is we get together, we do group meditation. This is a way of doing the opposite of what the negative agenda may be for certain elite people on the planet, where they want to keep people separated. If you put this thing over, then you feel separated from everybody else. There's a reason for that. It's not just all chance, but it's interesting. And the thing that I encourage you to do, and by the way, in case you didn't know, there is something that my buddy Victor Otto and I have, which is called Full-Time Purpose. We show people how to go full-time doing what they love, give you the strategy, show you step by step. There is a video below that you can check out to see if that's something that resonates with you. We've helped many people ditch their 9-to-5 jobs. It's not as hard as you think. You don't need hundreds of thousands of subscribers. You just need a simple strategy. You could literally do it with 5 or 6 coaching clients. That's how I went full-time back in the day, and I would have gone full-time way earlier if I would have known what I know now. But it's much easier than you think. And whether you want to be a healer or are a healer or a coach, or you want to be a coach or an artist or a content creator, whatever it is, click the link below, or you go to fulltimepurpose.com, but click the link below in the top of the description box. That will show you how you can do it. And then also, there's a meditation for us shifting to the most optimal timeline. Click that link below, listen to that for 21 days. That's one of the ways of doing your part energetically. And that will help you to both raise your vibe to be on the most optimal timeline, and this on us all collectively. So that's something that we can become aware of as well. So the message for you is that you are powerful. You came here for a reason. Step into it. Stop waiting. There's no more waiting. There's no more. 2021 is going to be even more nuts than it was this year in some ways. And with that uncertainty, the most important thing is that you remain grounded and focused, and you remember your power, and you really step into it rather than just intellectualizing it. So with that being said, let me know if you guys like this video. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be making more videos kind of like this, talk about the Great Awakening stuff. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.